Hello, this is Dorothy Smith, close to my heart independent consultant, and today I wanted to do a card. This is my continuation of my 3 sketches that I was planning on doing this week. So this is the Atlantic Heart Sketch Challenge number 299, and I'm going to use the Color Dare, some of the Color Dare colors to create the sketch challenge. And so I chose the eggplant cardstock for the background, and I put it through my rose embossing folder, which, how pretty is that? So there it is after I put it through my Cuttlebug. So that's the background for my card. And then I decided that I would use, my little heart was going to be one of our little stitched hearts. So that came from the Thin Cuts stitched hearts, and I used the smaller one. And those are so cute because they look like they have stitching going all around the outline. We have a number of heart type Thin Cuts, but the stitched one was just so cute. So I'm going to make I made a strip to go across the front, and these are one of our cards from, we have a value pack of 50 cards and 50 envelopes of the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch size, and you know, I keep packages of them handy to make cards. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach it to the front of my card with Tombow. And then the next thing is putting this diagonal, and they had the diagonal going across, kind of starting at the top in the corner and going to a bottom corner. And so it's not just diagonal, you kind of have to kind of work it a little bit so that the top corner and the bottom corner have a corner coming out at the end of it, which I like the way that looks. So I thought, I didn't know exactly what size, so I cut a piece of the Sugar Plum cardstock larger than I knew I needed. And so I just started at the upper right corner and then attached it to go down to the lower left corner. And so then, instead of having to do a whole lot of measurements or anything, so I'm just cutting off the excess. And so I do it that way, and then I flip the card over and decide that it'd be easier if I had it from the card opened to cut it, so I could see better what exactly where to cut. And so I'm using my micro-tip scissors, and if y'all don't have the micro-tip scissors from Close to My Heart, you need to get a pair because they're the best scissors ever. So there's my diagonal, and I mean, that's really nice the way it looks, isn't it? So here's a circle of the white glitter paper, and I used this yesterday, but I used the whole rim. That's the decorative rim that goes on the outside of the shaker card. And so this is the center of the shaker card, and so I thought, you know, don't want to have anything go to waste, especially glitter paper. So I'm using that as my background circle and then I'll add my heart and my other little pieces to add some interest to the circle. So I'm going to go ahead and Tombow that down and get it stabilized. And that little blue, the little peacock piece of paper there, that's one of the colors on the Color Dare Challenge is peacock. And so did I get it close enough? I'm not sure. So I took a piece of the peacock cardstock and I ran it through one of our new folders. Oh gosh, what is it called? Fun Scallops or something like that. Anyway, I'll have it below my video. And they're, you know, not just perfect. kind of scallop, so they have a little whimsy to them. And I kind of like that little scallop. And since I'm using mostly, well, all cardstock, you need to add some interest to the cardstock. You know, like that pink strip, the sugar plum strip, probably should have used some background and texture paper, something that has a print to it, but a subtle print. But I didn't, and so this was how I created some interest by using the embossing folders. I don't use my embossing folders near enough. And the little pieces of printed paper are from one of the sort of zipped strip off of one of the Feels Like Home papers. And I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of the Feels Like Home because I really, really like the paper. So the Tombow has a hard time sticking to the glitter paper, so I'm attaching it with my pre-cut foam pieces that are from the shaker window. And then I can Tombow the heart onto the cardstock, the peacock cardstock. So on the heart I used the darker side of the sugar plum, and that's why it's a little bit darker than the stripe going across, or the strip. That is the lighter color. I already had intensity of color with the eggplant, and so that's why I decided to use the lighter side of sugar plum. And so I'm adding a little bit of glitz using a little piece of the silver shimmer trim, which is self-stick, which I love, but that means you have to get the clear backing off of it. Sometimes it's hard to do with your fingernails, so I had to use the tip of the scissor to separate the film from the shimmer trim. So I tried to put it parallel with the bottom. Got sort of close. So because the one side is raised, I needed to put a little piece of the foam tape underneath the tip of the shimmer trim. So I thought that the front of the card needed a little sentiment on it. So this is the Butterfly Friendship stamp set and thin cuts. And the three little sentiments that they have with this stamp set has beautiful script. I mean, it's just, I guess because my handwriting is so awful, I really appreciate beautiful script. So I decided to just put a little sentiment down at the front of the card, and that also adds a little bit of interest to that kind of blank strip of sugar plum. So just for you, see the script, how pretty that is. So anyway, I'm taking another zip strip from the Feels Like Home paper, and it says love and happy and all sorts of nice words like that, and so I'm putting that on the bottom of the inside of my card. And I think that's a really sweet zip strip. I used some of that on my other butterfly card from yesterday, and this is another piece of the paper that comes with the Feels Like Home, and I'm going to put that along the top. I like the black and white look with this, and so I'm not going to add any color to the inside. I'm just going to do another sentiment from the same stamp set and just kind of put it along the center, so it's surrounded by black and white. And I don't know why I like that, but I do. So I'm going to get the longer sentiment, and I'm stamping it using my intense black ink for to get a nice dark ink, black ink in the help on the sentiment. And so the best way of getting your best image with your stamping is to put the foam pad below it, so it has something to kind of sink into and you get a really good connection with your stamp that way. So this says, "To a wonderful friend." Look at that gorgeous writing. I mean, isn't that pretty? And so yesterday I forgot to put a little signature on the back of the card, so I didn't want to forget today. And so we have a stamp set that has various things made with love or created by, and you can sign your name. And so I think those are nice little stamps to let people know that these are handmade cards. You know, not that it says Hallmark on the back, but it's kind of nice to have the finishing touch on the back. And because I had peacock on the front, I went ahead and did my "With Love" with peacock, and just because it's such a beautiful color. So this has been a well-seasoned stamp. I've used this stamp a lot. So this says "Made with Love." So, ta-da! There we go. I like that. Made with love. And so I got to looking because, you know, too much is not enough. I just kind of wanted something else. I mean, really, when you look at it, it looks just fine that way. But no, I couldn't leave that alone. I had some of the thin cuts I punched out yesterday with that beautiful friendship stamp set were all the butterflies, all the thin cut butterflies. So I had a couple of the butterflies left over. So I decided to not put them to waste. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll put a little butterfly on that plain pink background. And so I went ahead and stamped, this is like the medium size. And I don't know, maybe I probably didn't have my coffee yet. So there's the one on the right hand side, or no, the one on the left hand side is the kind of medium one. The one on the right hand is what I used yesterday for my shaker card. And so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it with the intense black. And I need to, because I forgot to season my stamp. You'd think I'd know better by now. I'm just kind of stamping to see what it looks like over on the paper. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do all the black touches of the butterfly. And then I lose control. So I thought that I wanted to stamp the, there's the detail stamp on this stamp set, and then there's kind of the internal part. And for some reason I couldn't get the one, I thought I had the right one to fit this stamp, but it wasn't quite right. So I'm going to have to play with this stamp set to kind of see what is supposed to go with what. So I went ahead and stamped it with the peacock, and I don't know, it should have worked. It should have worked, but I don't know what happened. You know, maybe I got too fussy with the whole thing. Maybe that's what it was. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try it. And you just kind of fit it over. And it doesn't really fill in all the way. So, you know, I thought, well, maybe that's not the right one. So I go and get the other one. Okay, that should have worked, right? So I go ahead and stamp it after I look at it to see if that's right. And it's probably fine. I I think the one was a little bit too big, and the other one was just a little bit kind of didn't cover the detail the way I wanted it to. But like I said, maybe it wasn't. That's how it was supposed to be. See, there's some of the black and white detail but that's probably what it's supposed to look like. But that wasn't good enough for me. So you know, by this time I'm thoroughly confused. So I decide to get the last butterfly and do the big butterfly. I'm still trying to make it work. Oh, can we laugh at ourselves? I think we should laugh at ourselves, because sometimes, whoa, mama. Okay, so here's my butterfly, and I'm going to try to put it on there. And I should have just given up, but I didn't. I'm still plugging away at it. Meantime, my fingers are getting bluer and bluer from all the peacock ink that's flowing. So, you know, sometimes you can just be a little too crazy. You know, you're noticing things that other people wouldn't notice, and you really just need to, my theme song needs to be Let It Go. I just didn't like the way it looked. So here we go. Get the big butterfly, because it's got to be better than that other one, right? So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the details. That's really too big. It's really too big. I might have to take that butterfly off in the end. I think I kept it on, but before that card goes anywhere, it may have to get changed out. Anyway, this is me being Looney Tunes. This is me before my afternoon coffee. That's what this is. So here we go. But this is a really pretty butterfly. I like this butterfly, even though it's kind of big. I think it's a beautiful butterfly, and this will make a nice monarch in the fall with an orangey kind of, or yellowy kind of ink. So the nice thing is you can color these butterflies any color you want. And actually, this peacock blue, I had butterflies in my yard this fall that were that peacock blue and black. They were just absolutely beautiful. Lady down the street has these special plants, pipe plants, I think, that are in her backyard, and these particular butterflies with this peacock blue color, that's what they eat on, and that's where they put their chrysalis. And so all of her grandchildren were coming to feed in my backyard, because I've got all these perennial flowers that just the butterflies just absolutely love, which was the whole point of me planting all the perennials. I wanted to feed the butterflies. So I really enjoyed it. But this was definitely the color and it was almost had some iridescence to them. They were gorgeous. So anyway, there's my butterfly. And is a little bit too much? Probably a little bit too much, but you know, it's a butterfly. Who could not love butterflies? So there we go. I finally did it. And it's cute. The butterfly's pretty. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being patient. Thanks for putting up with my silliness. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog at dotscrapbooking.com.